Hello, in this PixaFlux video tutorial I'll show you how to create a halftone effect with PixaFlux. Halftone is a printing technique that uses dots of variable sizes to simulate variations in tone. For this project we'll use these images downloaded from pixabay.com. Drop an image into the graphic viewport. Zoom 1:1. Convert the image to monochromatic with a channel mixer node. Set the output to monochrome and the values to 0.3, 0.5 and 0.2. Add a gradient node. Set the shape to radial and the size to 100 by 100. Point A defines the center. Set it to 50-50. Point B defines the radius. Set it to 50 and 120. Convert it to a value image. This image will be our dot source. Now let's style those dots in an image with the size of our input image. Add an image to frame node. Add tile node. Expose the frame attribute. Connect the frame. We can control the size and orientation of the dots with the tile attributes. Add a value compare node. Connect the monochromatic image and the tile dots image. This node compares two images, and adds a white pixel where the compare statement is true, and black where it's false. Set the display output to greater or equal than B. This adds a white pixel where the value of the monochromatic image is greater or equal than the value of the dots image, leaving large black dots in the dark areas. Let's increase the number of points. Add a toValue node to map the values of the input image to a new range. The image doesn't change because this is a value image, and the image viewport normalizes the display image between its low and high values. The low and high values of the image are displayed in the viewport title. But if we look at the value compare output, we can see that the low attribute nicely controls the darkness ratio. Add a blur node to soften the shape of the black dots. Set boundary to clamp. The size of the blur effect softens the image and crops the dots to a more circular shape. The size of the blur effect needs to be as large as the dot's diameter, which is a size of 100 in the gradient node, multiplied by a scale of 0.1 in the tile node. This is 10 pixels. Add a new blur node to soften the borders of the black dots. Set size to 1 and boundary to clamp. Let's test with the smaller dots. Adjust the blur size. And set the range to make the image brighter. Let's test with a different image. Now that we have all the nodes that modify the image, let's add attributes to the project to control this operation with one node. Add a new attribute to control the size of the dots. Name it size. Set its type to number. Default to 10. Minimum to 5 and maximum to 100. In the blur node, expose the size attributes. Connect the size attributes to the blur node. We can also control the tile scale with the size attribute, but we need some math nodes for this. Add a number divide node and connect the size attribute as the dividend input. Set divisor to 100. Add a point node and expose the x and y attributes. Connect the number divide output to the x and y inputs. Hovering with the mouse on top of a numeric output displays a tooltip with the output values. In the tile node, expose the scale attribute. Connect the point output to the scale input. Now the size attribute controls the size of the dots and the smoothness of the image. Add a new attribute to control the angle of the dots image. Name it angle. Set its type to number. Minimum to 0 and maximum to 90. Expose the rotate attribute in the tile node. Connect the angle attribute to the rotate input. Add a new attribute to control the brightness of the output image. Name it brightness. Set its type to number. Set the number of decimals to 3. Set maximum to 1. Set step to 0.01. Expose the low attribute in the toValue node. Connect brightness to low. This project is now complete and it can be packed to be reused in other projects. Add an image I/O node to set the input of this node graph. Reconnect all the channel mixer output connections through the image I/O node. Rename this node image. Add a new image I/O node and connect it to the output of the blur node. Rename this node image. Now let's add a Berlin noise node to save this project without any external references. Delete the reader nodes. In the attributes node, set size to 10 and angle and brightness to 0. This will be the default values of this node graph when used in another project as a node. Save this project as Halftone. In a new project, drop an image. Add a node graph node and load the Halftone project. Double-click the project to reload the user interface. The node user interface shows all the attributes created in the Halftone project, and the input and output of this node are the ones added with the image I/O nodes. Let's try it with a different image. This is how you can create a halftone effect and pack it as a reusable project. Thank you for watching this PixaFlux video tutorial. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us in Discord, Twitter and Instagram.